the
Yeah.
pros and cons of both sides, but
Right.
Yeah.
that's why we're placing the discussion here today
Well,
too.
Yeah, I like,
Well,
it sounds like
date,
that
though,
we,
you guys.
well, it sounds like what we generally like is the first bullet, that we would compensate for a military or other, approved civic duty, up to 80 hours of time spent doing that, you'll be compensated the difference.
Right.
And then we can add for employees hired before this date who, were participating in a duty before X date,
Yeah, that was.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Then-
participating in a duty, that's
you
the
can
key.
do this.
Yes.
Yeah,
And then,
Right.
as soon as that's no longer applicable, you can remove that bullet. And
so then Sharon, sorry, you're out of luck if you want to become a firefighter now.
There you go.
Well, she's not out of luck, it's just she
Yeah,
wants to use a different
right,
bullet.
right.
So are you more
I can join the
inclined?
military though.
Yeah.
I'm more inclined, like what he said, is if you were
Engaged in the.
engaged in
In that duty.
that duty before this date, you are grandfathered in. If not,
Mhm.
Right.
you,
A applies.
A applies. If you were already engaged, B applies.
But I think you want to
Yeah.
include both the hiring date and the engagement date, for lack of a better word, because if you hire somebody new who's been a lifelong firefighter,
Mhm.
you'd like them to go into the first bullet.
Category.
Yeah,
Yes.
so.
Okay, and then,
Crazy, right, policy for one person.
I know,
It's
that's awesome.
nuts.
I lost where I'm at here.
Volunteer service.
Okay,
Nine.
9:15, we added a new section for
Which is very
volunteer
lovely.
service.
It is 9:15, imagine that. How appropriate.
This is good.
I think that's a great policy, just saying.
Great.
Good. Moving right along, they have miscellaneous, page 1356. Pretty simple. We just took out originally, we had the dollar amount for the reimbursement rate for the IRS, so we just took it out. We just indicated current rate by the IRS. And then,
So does this mean we can no longer provide you with a Christmas gift because
No.
we're customers?
no.
Well, we're a customer. I'm a customer. I can't give you a Christmas gift, sorry.
Yeah.
We didn't
Sorry,
want,
Sharon.
we didn't get into the whole thing about de minimis.
Right.
Yeah, de minimis. Should we add that? Good.
So like white elephant gifts. Those are like almost the opposite, they're like worse than minimum.
We just thought, again, for transparency,
Yep.
we didn't want to be able to have people say that our employees walk into Napa or walk into Menards and get a discount because they're wearing a Lowell Power t-shirt on a Saturday.
Mhm.
But what if a customer brings you a plate of cookies?
That's fine.
That's the minimum, yeah.
With arsenic.
Yeah.
I've got a question on that volunteer service one.
What's that?
What'd you say?
I have a question on the volunteer service, because it's not 9:15 yet, so. I've got time for a question.
5% off,
Really?
yeah.
So,
Because of your
Because you
job?
work here?
Yeah,
hmm?
You're not supposed
It's
to.
not allowed.
Shh. Andrew.
I don't have to tell anybody.
So,
You just did.
I've got a question on this volunteer service
This
about,
wasn't in there.
it says the time must be for an organization recognized as using volunteers.
Yeah, it can't be like you're gonna babysit for your sister-in-law, because she needs some help, for the
Right.
afternoon.
So does it have to be like a tax exempt organization kind of thing? Like, you have to say 501c3 or,
You're
like,
over my head on that
Or
one, but,
probably go
like
to
if someone wants to
school,
volunteer
like
for a
helping at
political
the
campaign, does
school
that count?
With the
Yeah.
teacher.
Because that's 501(c)(4) or whatever the thing is. I mean, there's different types of volunteering, and of course, there's a lot of these like ad hoc volunteer groups that are not registered with
I-
anything,
Well, I guess
so.
it doesn't have to be registered. I guess what we're just saying is like I said, you can't go home and babysit for your brother-in-law or your sister-in-law because they need help watching their kids for the afternoon.
Mhm.
It's if you don't have to go to Habitat or anything like that. You can go to the school, if they just help serve lunches or do a presentation, a playground, whatever. When they come back, they have to bring us something that says, so-and-so volunteered at this organization. And it has to be something. It can't be just, so I think it's gonna be on a discretionary basis. I don't think that anybody's gonna have to have a list again.
Okay,
We're just saying
Well,
somebody
yeah.
that has for volunteers.
okay, it's just, I've heard of cases where people would create a volunteer group of friends who go and,
Bar hop?
or do something, like,
Pub crawl.
you know, they take like a rafting or like a tubing trip on the river with kids to benefit the kids, and it's all just a family, you know, but they're trying to call it a volunteer
Well,
group.
if it
and-
was, let's say a church or a school organization,
Well, they're already recognized as nonprofit,
that's
so,
exactly what I'm saying. It has to
Okay.
be recognized. It can't be just, you know, the French family outing on
Right.
Friday afternoon, no.
but when they come back and claim they're volunteering, I guess I'm just saying, it's like, they can say, hey, they're youth volunteers, we volunteered our time to help our friends.
Well, the only
You
thing.
know, I mean, I understand that that's an obvious argument that wouldn't fly, but
It's not for
you don't want
personal.
someone to point to the policy and say, hey, you technically allow this, and that's why
Well,
that's why they invent legal language, I guess, but,
I'm gonna say, this is why our general manager gets paid the big bucks.
yeah.
I think that, for me, you bring up a point, I think it also, one is the volunteer thing, I think it also needs to be someplace be in there pre-approved.
Okay, that would cover it.
Pre-approved so that, by management or by your supervisor or some, I think it needs to be pre-approved, because just reading this is like, oh, I'm gone.
I'm outta here, I'll
I
see
don't
you.
show up
Yeah.
today, and I come back and I'm going, oh, here's my little slip, I went and did my volunteer. I think it needs to be pre-approved with
Yeah.
with a 48-hour or I think it needs to be I think it needs to be a little more defined of,
Pre-approved with some notice.
with some kind of notice or whatever the
fine.
management feels is appropriate.
Okay.
Just so you don't have people take advantage.
No,
Right,
absolutely.
and we have, not only do we have to pre-approve at least 48 hours, but my manager can turn me down and say, I've got a lot of people out. I can't let this go.
Can't do it right now. Yeah.
So,
Well, but we have 7 emergency call-in days too for PTO.
Right, but
Okay.
then you're using
Then you're
using your
using PTO,
PTO and not using your volunteer day.
Right.
Let's move, we gotta move on.
Yes.
So you're gonna come back to with some
Yes.
changes?
Yep.
Okay, moving on to part D, I think your next is your healthcare,
Okay, are we through everything on the policy?
aren't we?
I think so. All right.
I'm going to excuse myself.
Okay.
okay.
Thank you, it's been a
Diana,
pleasure.
don't you
Thank
want to?
you.
Sure,
Thanks
you
for
get to go.
joining us.
Thank you.
We make sure, make a point, make sure we put her item the last on the list next time.
Yeah.
Last thing on the agenda.
What?
Okay.
All right, the next item is healthcare. Tina's favorite.
It is.
So Steve has a handout, I believe, for you.
Just pass one down.
I thought gifts weren't allowed. Oh, a different kind
We
of
can get them,
handout.
they
I
can.
have mine.
Mine's grandfathered in.
It has a front and a back. These were the renewal options that we received from our broker. Obviously, there's hundreds of other options out there, and we've looked at probably another dozen after we received this, just to see what might be available. And in the past, for those of you who haven't been on the board for 5 or 6 years, about 6 years ago, we went to a health plan that was called Health by Choice, and it was to promote healthy living among our employees, trying to incentivize them to have a good body mass index, a good blood pressure, not smoke, those types of things. And we had a plan with Priority Health called Health by Choice. And we've had that in place for, like I said, about 6 years now. And, everybody's liked the program as far as I know. We also have had the opportunity or afford our employees the opportunity to use a health club up to a maximum limit every year to help them stay in shape, to help them meet the body mass index and blood pressure and those types of things. So in any event, we've tried to keep with that. We kept with it last year, even though we were in the middle of that bargaining unit issue, and we kept the same plan, even though it wasn't necessarily to their advantage. This year, when our proposal came back, again, because of the Affordable Care Act and trying to fit our plan into one of those metallic groups, platinum, gold, silver, or bronze, or whatever they are, these are the changes that needed to occur to our plan to get, or to have a health by choice plan through priority. So there's actually, for those who get the choice benefits, and I'm in the first set of columns under priority health. And you see the first column is current, and there's 2 columns under that, and then proposed. We have the choice benefits and we have the standard benefits. Those who meet the criteria, or at least working towards meeting the criteria, get the choice benefits. Those that say, to heck with it, get the standard benefits. So you see there's a significant advantage and incentive to get the choice benefits. To have that plan renewed to something that qualifies under one of those metallic divisions for the Affordable Care Act is a 24.5% increase to our insurance coverage. And it actually gives us a better benefit for those who meet the choice benefits. For example, the individual deductible drops from $500 to $250, the family drops from $1,000 to $500, goes from an 80-20 to a 90-10, and from $3,500 individual and family out-of-pocket expenses to $1,500 and $3,000. So the benefit level goes up for our employees to get to that plan by Priority Health, but again, it's a 24.5% increase.
The increase is paid by
90% of it is paid by us, 10% is paid by the employee.
Okay. So that annual total is what we would pay 90% of,
Yes,
per employee or for all of them?
that's all of them.
Okay.
Well, there's a monthly total
Okay, yep.
or annual total for all employees. Okay? So it amounts to about $33,000, $34,000 according to this estimate. All right? The other plan from Priority that is fairly similar, but gets us away from the philosophical concept of health by choice, the incentivizing to be healthier, is this HMO 500. It keeps the same individual and family deductible. The coinsurance stays the same. The individual out-of-pocket goes up a little bit. The family out-of-pocket goes up a little bit. And most of the rest of them are comparable. The office visit goes from 15 to 20, from 30 to 35. It stays at 75 for an urgent care visit, on down the line. So for our current employees who have the choice benefits, it's a little bit worse on the out-of-pocket, but pretty much stays the same. It's definitely better for those who have the standard benefits now. And comes with an 11% increase. The other 2 options take us out of the Priority network into the Blue Cross network. And Blue Cross has what they call a Healthy Blue Living Platinum 500, which is a good plan. It's actually as good or in some cases better than our current Health by Choice for those in the choice benefits versus the enhanced benefits. It's actually a little worse for those in the standard benefits. So where some get better, others are not as good. And the price differential is about 9.5%, close to the 11% of the HMO, but keeps us in that incentivizing health philosophy that we've been trying to foster for the last 5 or 6 years. And then there's also another Healthy Blue Living plan, which is even better for both groups of employees, the enhanced and the standard benefits, but comes with a price tag of about 14%. So we have a number of options. Some of them keep us with the health by choice and benefit philosophy, some of them don't. The drawback, as we've talked to people about the Blue Cross health by choice, or what they call the Healthy Living, the drawback is their criteria to get the enhanced benefits are much more stringent than our priority health standards. In our priority health plan, you don't have to quit smoking. You just have to be continually trying to quit smoking. You have to be working at it. In the Healthy Blue Living, you actually have to quit smoking. I mean, for the first year, you can be in the process and get the enhanced benefits, but ultimately, you have to quit smoking, or you have to quit chewing, or you go to the standard benefits. Same with the BMI and the blood pressure and those type of things. You actually have to potentially wear a pedometer for a year. A number of things that are more stringent. And from our initial conversations with some of our employees, that's not really appealing to them, although there's some that don't mind because they probably already qualify and aren't worried about it. So we don't have a perfect option here. I think the best bang for our buck is the Healthy Blue, but it probably isn't going to be the most popular among the employees.
How many of
Are there
our,
any other types of plans that, like, have the encouraging sort of the healthier lifestyle, but without just these four options,
Not
I guess?
many, everybody's
I mean,
going to them.
because I know my company's plan has, you don't have to qualify, aside from you are charged more for being a smoker, but that's the only other one, but, it has a different structure, where rather than co-pays and all that, it's, you pay the first X amount, and then you split it 80-20, then after a certain pack, or cap, the company pays everything.
We can design any system that we want,
Yeah, so that's,
but it becomes an administrative hassle for us to manage it. And for 10 employees, instead of 1,000, it's not worth it.
so how many?
well, I mean, but it's a pretty straightforward plan, I mean, isn't it? That you say you, up to this much you pay, up to this much we split. And up
So
to
you
this-
have 10 or 11 employees that are on insurance?
We have 11 right now.
I have 11 right now.
That are what?
11 on our
That qualify
insurance.
for insurance.
Okay, but
And 32.
of those
that are-
11, are they all in the choice benefits, or are they in
That's what I
the,
mean.
what's the percentage?
I tried to ask, I'm not allowed, they're not allowed to tell me.
Yeah,
What's the
Now-
That's a HIPAA thing.
yeah.
I tried to,
We
I
can't have
just,
that
we
information.
get the same bill from Priority, no matter if people are on the choice or not, because it costs the same.
Right.
Their cost
Mm-hmm.
is reduced, depending on if they qualify, but that's between them and their doctor. We can't, as the employer, go and say, hey,
No.
did they meet it?
No.
So our cost is the same no matter which plan they're on?
Yes.
Mhm.
Right
Oh,
now.
okay.
Now, I do know who choose, and I did put a chart together. I believe if we went with the Blue Care Network, we'd have 7, maybe 8 on the standard. Because the employee and spouse has to meet it. And it
Based
is,
on tobacco alone.
yeah, we have some guys who chew and
Some wives that smoke.
some wives that smoke. They don't, I would guess they're not gonna quit. They, Sharon just said they won't.
So what are we
But are these the
deciding,
only
what we're
types-
gonna go with, or is it the second, employees, or, so with this priority health, is it all or none, or, I forget what we had to do last time.
Well, last time it was easy because we just renewed the plan that stayed with
The
where,
same.
the same.
Yeah,
Even though there was an increase involved, it pretty much stayed the same
Yeah.
plan. And so we just
Well, there were like slight changes
There were
and
some
a
slight
decrease, I
Yeah.
think, so it made it really easy.
Right,
But
there
now
was a
it's-
decrease in
now
rate,
it's a
and there was
huge
also
increase.
an
Yeah, 25%.
increase in the deductible,
huge.
but they got something for their money, you know what I'm saying?
So what decision are we facing here then?
We have to
Right.
decide which
Mhm.
we think we're willing to absorb, and then,
Yeah.
talk to our employees about it and sell that plan.
What is the union
Well,
contract?
are there-
What do we have to do?
We met with the union, and I had hoped they would be back to me by tonight. They aren't, but the indication that we're getting is that they're not enthused, they're not thrilled with the healthy living, Blue Cross Blue Shield Healthy Living Plan, because the criteria
Right.
is something that they're not gonna meet, so they're gonna pay more and get worse benefits. So,
But they don't have veto power on that, do they?
no, they don't have,
No, but you still want
ultimately,
something
yeah,
good for the employees.
No,
Right.
I understand that,
yeah,
but
yeah. And I
the
feel, this-
reality is, when you're facing, over 24%, almost,
Okay,
24% increases, it's a lot.
Well,
to
but there's gotta be
absorb.
more than 4 plans out there, right?
but, no, we've looked
No.
at tons of plans.
There's
Yeah,
a
we have.
lot, there's a lot of plans.
And there's
I
a
mean,
bazillion different plans
So these are
out
the
there,
only
but
ones
A
that are
lot of them
anywhere
are
close
just
to
too radical.
the
These are-
cost
yeah.
or the
you have
benefit.
to look at what's
Yes.
comparable.
I mean, and there's other companies out there, I mean, there's Aetna, there's,
Go on the market,
Oh, there's
give
a
employees
zillion, yeah.
money, and
yeah,
Whole new
You
philosophy.
can cut the employees $2,000 a month, or $2,000 a year, and say, buy your own too.
so,
Some places do that, not
Right,
here.
right.
But I've seen that in the marketing.
right.
So-
So, I mean, I'm sure we could do an infinite amount of research and find other plans with other
I would rather
companies,
you
but-
not going to Aetna, or the small, and nothing against them.
No, I know.
However,
And that's why we
all
haven't in the
know that
past.
this region, Blue Cross Blue Shield, Priority Health, you guys.
Yeah,
And
those
you're-
are
They can
bigger,
go
yeah.
anywhere.
Right.
Something happens, where they're covered. That's
Exactly.
where I'm
Exactly.
very
And
concerned.
even with Blue Cross switching from priority, the employees have to go through a myriad of changes
Right.
in order
Different
to
doctors
get
and-
their, their.
prescription,
what do they call it? Prescriptions
chiropractor,
and
and stuff like
their
that.
PC.
Durable
CPs,
medical equipment,
and all those types of things.
things like
So
that.
Yep.
unless
We
of
had
a
to do that.
huge benefit, it's a lot of aggravation.
in looking,
Well, then we have to
in
change
doing
this.
comparisons
Yeah.
and looking at it, right now, if I had to choose, I would be looking at the Priority Health HMO 500.
Right.
And because I'm looking at it, the deductibles from what our employees currently have stays the same if you're a choice, but it actually goes down if you happen to be a standard benefit. It actually drops from 2,000 to 500.
Right.
And in the family, it drops from 4,000 to 1,000, which it stays the same as if you were a choice benefit. It's 80/20, which is the same as if you're a choice. It's actually improves from the standard benefits, which is 70/30. It increases on the out-of-pocket max. If you were a choice, it goes from 35 to 38, which is a $300 increase, and it goes for a family from 7,000 to 7,600, which is a 600. But if you were in the standard benefits, one of our employees, it actually reduces by
$2,200.
2,200, and for a family by 5,000. So, and then looking at preventative care is the same. It does go up for a primary office visit from 15 to 20, but if you're standard, it actually goes down. So, in looking at this, it enhances the people that are on a standard benefit, and in the choice benefits, it's very minimal, and that is a 11.06% increase as compared to the 24% increase. And if you look at the priority, or look at Blue Cross, certainly you have a 9.55, but it certainly increases,
Significant change.
significantly changes in the standard benefits, not so much in the enhanced. So, you know, if I was to go right now and put my vote on there, I would be saying, let's go with the HMO 500.
Is that the same, since it's Priority Health, is it the same network even though it's a different plan?
Yes, it's the
Correct.
same network.
Okay.
I have two comments, and Steve, you chime in too if you have anything that you want to add, because Steve's done a lot of the background and legwork on it and figured out all the rates, and one of the features of, whether it's a feature or not a positive thing, but one of the features of the Affordable Care Act is everybody gets rated individually. So our rate really is determined by what our mix of employees are and who they are actually in the plan at the time. So these are just estimates here. And the actuals are probably going to end up being a little different. But
These are actuals.
Based on the current employees.
Right, on the current employees.
Yes, current employees, yes.
Yes.
Yep, okay.
Right. I'm saying what we may end up with may be different than what is estimated here, is all I'm saying. But anyway, the thing that I struggle with the HMO 500 is for those employees, whoever they are, and I don't know who they are, or nor do I care, or how many of them there are, we are asking them to pay 11% more for a less benefit. We've never done that before. Okay, the rate goes up 11%. Their rate goes up 11%, and some of their benefits go down.
Well, they basically should stay flat.
Well, for example, I mean, just the out-of-pocket max goes up
Right.
$300 and
yeah, but in the-
$600. Okay, so here's.
It's 10%. I mean,
I understand.
but
But again, you're asking your employees to take a cut in some coverage and pay more for it. What Steve and I talked about might be an option that would probably never come into play is to offer to make them whole. If they had an individual out-of-pocket expense that got over $3,500, we'd pay the $300.
or the 6, or,
And if they had a family that went over 7,000, we'd pay the 8.
Like a health savings account?
Well, we wouldn't make it a health savings account. We would just say that we'd pick up the difference this first year to keep them whole on the basis of,
So you're not planning on doing that in perpetuity?
no.
Because, I mean, I know it stinks. You look at an 11% and it stinks. But I'm sorry, the reality of the marketplace in the last couple of years, everybody is experiencing increases like that. Everybody. And yeah, it stinks. But that's the market. That's ACA, you know? So, yeah,
Unfortunately, it is the market.
it is. It's the market, and there's not a whole lot we can do about that. It's the market.
I understand that.
I know that some, and let me just throw this out
I'm
there.
just
What we're
talking
talking
about
about-
potential goodwill
Right.
that I
Yeah.
don't think will cost us anything.
Right. We-
right, because
and-
basically you're talking about no more than 6 employees, right? That could max out, because that was
Right.
just the ones who were on the choice plan, or I forget how many, 4 or
Right.
6, whatever. And a maximum of 600 per, so it'd be no more than $3,600 for a year.
And I don't think, since I've been here, nobody's ever maxed out on their out-of-pocket.
So these
Wow.
employees, they get to have their husbands on there and their kids on there, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're basically, again, I don't know the composite.
No one had a.
If you're looking at the whole thing, you're looking at 6,000 is the max. 11 employees, I don't know if they all have in families, but if you're looking at a family situation where it goes from 7,000 to 76, so it's $600. So the max you're talking about is if every person had a claim and went to the max,
Right.
you'd be talking about 6,000.
Well, no, that's why we came up with the 3,000, because it's only, how many employees have the current choice?
Yeah, because priority is easier, I would think 6 out of 11. Probably.
Yeah, but we don't know that, right?
No.
It's a guess.
It's a
Technically.
guess, but, well,
I'm just
But you already-
saying maximum.
Yeah, yeah,
But
but
your
if you
current-
said it for everybody.
no, I'm saying your current
10.
plan, you've already, oh, you don't know
Right.
who qualifies for choice or standard.
Right.
A
He's
pretty
just
good
saying
idea.
if all 10 did, then it would be 6,000.
Right,
Oh, so because you don't know, then you
Right.
have to offer that to every employee?
sure,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so it's not 3,600, it is, like Harry's saying, it's 6,600,
If.
potentially.
Potentially, correct. In
But
reality.
in reality, closer to like 2,000, or if you had to
Yeah,
guess,
I
you
mean,
know.
what are
Yeah.
the chances?
Right.
You need to be in a huge accident
Or have a
tumor or
baby.
cancer. Right.
Because I've maxed out.
Yeah, very
Breast,
few.
okay.
On mine,
Yeah.
it's like,
Okay.
2 kids,
So
yeah.
that was just something I,
Right.
Steve and I thought might be worth throwing out as a topic of conversation. That would be a goodwill thing that I don't think would cost anything.
so it
I
would
don't
cost Light and Power an
Yeah.
extra 150,000 for this plan, plus another 6,000 potentially.
Cost us what?
15,000.
15,000.
15. It's an
135 to
additional,
150.
yeah, it's an
Oh, whoops.
additional
Yep.
15. Yeah,
So an additional 15,000 plus an additional potentially 6. So,
If you made that.
right.
Right.
Which, and then the difference between these two were it's late 32, 33 is the difference between
Right.
these two.
Right. So we're still.
So it's still less than
Right,
keeping the current plan, so to speak,
yes.
but, and most
Well-
likely it'll be much less. Or,
It's,
yeah.
yeah,
what I think, what you're really doing is if you do go with what Steve and Greg have talked about, and you put in there that we'd make you whole if you happen to reach that, so that they don't. On the flip side, however many that we have in the standard, so are they gonna, I'm being facetious, they're gonna pay us because we're making their cost is
well, no, we'd be paying them.
much
because-
less?
Well, right, I mean, they're,
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And again,
Yeah.
it goes back to whether you do 100% or, again, pick a number. Everybody's incurring cost increase. I mean, believe me, I'm self-employed and have my insurance and yeah.
Yeah.
But,
Hard.
but the point being is, I can see where we could go to those employees and say, okay, we understand, we'll pay of that $600 that you possibly, if you should happen to reach that, we'll pay you 300 of that. I mean, I just think, personally, I think, yes, it's a great gesture, but I also think that everybody is seeing increases, and so.
Unfortunate escalator.
So we're gonna help you out, but are we gonna help you out to 100%?
Well,
I think,
Well,
I think the reason Greg and I came up with that, and I'm in the choice, and I see all these plans, which, a lot of our employees haven't seen them, like Julie or
Right.
Megan, and, I mean, if I was choosing just for me, I could pay less with Blue Care Network and get significantly better benefits. So why, if it was just hey, if I'm just looking out for number one, why would I want the HMO 500? I could have a $2,000 out-of-pocket max instead of $7,600. But my recommendation, I think, along with Greg, would be to go with the HMO 500 because it's definitely beneficial to almost everyone. And you're keeping pretty much
It's
everybody
comfortable.
very close to what they're at.
right,
But I think that's where Greg and I came up with that. Because somebody like if Julie or Megan or Sharon, hey, they see the other plan, they say, hey, why wouldn't I want to pay 9% and get significant better coverage? Now I'm paying 11 and getting a little bit worse. You know what I mean?
mm-hmm. Sure wish we could split them, right?
Yeah, we looked into what it takes to offer two plans and,
That's
Yeah, that wouldn't
a
be worth it
nightmare.
for-
well, we can't
You
do
don't
it.
have enough employees to deal with that.
yeah, that's an incredible one, 2,000 out-of-pocket max.
Right.
Right.
Well, the other,
I have like 6,800 on mine. It's ridiculous.
The
well,
only,
the other,
Yeah.
I guess, just the other thought I had is, if you were going to budget a certain like 1 to 6,000 or whatever potentially to offset that max, maybe it'd be better spent just doing, say, let's just budget 3,000 that we will spend towards employees, gym memberships. I mean, I know you already do that, or just some other healthy activity, whether,
Some other incentive.
you know, whether every Wednesday you bring in, you know,
Zumba.
fruit for everybody or something that, you know, for free, or
Do Zumba.
I don't know, just use that as like a 3,000 or some X amount of healthy company budget kind of thing towards the employees.
Mm-hmm.
So
See,
that
and I
they
have,
actually are getting a little healthier, and then hopefully not ever reaching that out of pocket. Just, I don't know, I mean, it's a thought, but
Maybe I'm a pessimist. I just kind of feel like if people are going to take the initiative individually to be healthy, they're going to do it with or without an incentive.
Well,
And if
then-
they're not going to, it's not going to matter.
But
You
we-
know?
But then part of that is then rewarding those who are taking that initiative,
Yeah.
and that's basically replacing
Right,
this
I
choice
understand.
by saying,
Yeah.
hey, if you want to take advantage of a gym.
so you
membership
have, so, and I'm just
Pickleball, or, you
saying
know.
this, so you have a little bit of history, because now it's in our, you know, it's with the union and everything, and it's in our handbook now and everything. What had happened several years ago, we were doing just what we were doing right now. And we had this plan, and we had this plan, and if we went to this healthy choice, it actually reduced the amount that we were paying, like 4%, 5%, I don't remember exactly.
It was more than that.
It was more than that. So we said that having us go to that.
Sure.
And our employees,
Makes
we said, you know, that savings, you know, we could have just said, hey, that's great, but we also said, okay, because of that savings, we said, we're gonna allow our employees to, that's where that $400, that magic number came. We're gonna allow our employees, because we want them healthy, and we saved an amount, let's put that in there, you know, so I'm kinda going like, well, you know, could we, you know, for me, it's like, okay, we did that because we thought it was the right thing to do, and it's still, I believe it's the right thing to do, but at the same time, okay, now we're getting hit with these larger costs. Can we take that 400, you know, we want to take that 400 back, and instead of using it for a gym membership, we'll use that 400 towards their insurance policy, which we can't really do because it's now,
Cost prohibitive.
well, no, it's now something that we've,
Yeah, wow, yeah.
it's history now.
Yeah.
We've put that in.
Right.
Again,
I know.
people don't, you know, goes back to, you know, that's one reason why the contract took so long to settle, is because all the things that we do in history or that we do now is going to have effect on us 5 years, a year from now, 5 years from now, 20 years from now.
So, to kind of draw this
Mhm.
in, if we can get everyone to agree, and when I say everyone, I mean if the union is okay with the HMO 500, and it appears that the board thinks that's a reasonable solution, all right? We could go for approval of that, whether we take and offer, you know, something to keep those whole that might have been on the choice benefits, is, we, you know, can decide that. The other question that is a possibility, and we don't know all the details for sure, but there's a possibility that our mix of employees might change on the health plan before we renew in June. If that were to happen,
What do you mean by change?
we may have people that decide to take it that didn't take it before, or people decide to not take it who are taking it now.
Oh, that just, it's elected, I mean, and
Right.
then they might change the level of the coverage because of the,
They might decide they have better coverage someplace else and not get coverage from us, period.
you're saying that, but the different composition of employees could change the
What we're
rates
paying.
that
Yeah.
you're
Cost
paying.
increase.
The rates that we're paying.
That could go
So,
up or down.
if
Okay.
whatever we approve,
Right.
I would like it to also include the possibility that if the demographics of the group change such that we could offer this one that has a 24% increase
At
or
the
something
same
that's 11 or
time.
less,
Yeah.
that we could offer that one as well. I don't want to box the decision in to one plan if after we get the final numbers, we find out we could do the better plan, keep the health by choice option, and not spend any more money than we're saying this 11% would cost us here.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, if you,
Although, I mean, to me, I kind of see the HMO as the better plan. Because, I mean, the difference is, $600 for a family. Right? Oh, you're talking about the mapped plan, so to speak, the second plan?
The second plan is what,
That's significantly better for the choice benefits.
right. That's what we would renew to. The first plan is not available anymore.
This plan is literally going away.
Oh, okay.
This is what we would be renewed to automatically if we didn't give them a decision.
Oh, so you're saying if somehow our demographic allowed this plan to get within the price range, do we go back to that one?
Yes. That's what I'd like the approval
that's
for.
reasonable.
Well, what-
Do you want me
Although
to
the issue I see with
throw
that
out
is.
some numbers, Greg?
What?
Do you want me to throw out some numbers?
Well,
It's all speculation at this point.
Yeah, because of the demographic. But I guess the issue I see there is if you offer the employees the HMO 500, and now you say, oh, you know what, because now we can afford this other one, we're gonna do that.
Well, I'm
But
not-
those of you
we're
that
not
don't
gonna-
qualify,
We're not gonna offer them anything until we know
you're
what it's
going
gonna
to
be.
wait and see who's going to select to be covered.
don't you have to have a plan first?
And then,
No.
when do they have to make their selection?
How can they reselect if they don't even know what the coverage is?
One of our employees, his wife is 65. You can get a priority health Medicare plan for much cheaper and better coverage. And he has coverage through the Navy, and he doesn't use our plan anyway.
So he doesn't really need your plan.
Right,
So whatever we do to it wouldn't be in his best interest.
yeah, but for everybody else, I mean,
Everybody else will take what we tell them to get.
Yeah, if you're only.
So
gonna
what you're
offer-
Well, yeah,
saying is
but I mean,
that this
but
one
if
individual
they
could
had-
change the entire scope of the cost.
Yes.
Yeah.
but I mean, other folks have the option of other insurance, like if their spouse is employed, how do they know whether they want to elect this coverage or their spouse's coverage if we don't even tell them what their coverage is?
Well, we're gonna tell them that it's gonna be at least what they have now or better,
Right, during open
is true.
or
enrollment.
similar.
During open enrollment, they will get
Yeah,
the map of this.
right. I just don't wanna lock a decision into a specific plan. If it
Okay.
turns out that we can get,
Mhm.
We're trying to avoid a 24% increase and stick closer to the 11%.
Yes.
So if you can get that plan closer to the 11%,
We're just having this, we're not making
No.
I was gonna say,
Hey,
we're not making a
a
decision.
decision tonight on this, right?
we don't have to make a decision on it
Because it's
tonight,
not, wasn't in the action items.
Well, we can make
Yeah,
decisions
we
without
can.
them being in action items, but, I mean, if we could make a decision tonight, it gets us farther down the road in terms of our discussions with the union and our discussions with employees and getting everything in place to be able to go to open enrollment and have things set up June 1st. If we
So-
wait until June 14th at our next meeting,
Yeah.
we're
Behind the 8 ball.
not behind the 8 ball, but we're pushing the envelope
We are.
at that point.
So we as a board could say, we would recommend the HMO 500, but
On contingency.
if you could get the priority health by choice incentive HMO, still within that 11% increase, that would also be okay.
Yes.
So that's kind of what you're,
That's kind of what I'm,
okay.
Is that really a better plan? I mean, because for,
It's a-
I mean, for half the employees it is, for half it isn't.
for half it is and half it's the same.
Right.
Well,
For the
same
standard,
for
but-
the current, but
Yeah.
it's,
The other
Worse
thing,
for the
a
HMO.
lot of employees were not aware of the requirements to get into the choice for priority health.
Oh,
And
They
now
thought
that
it
they
was
know what they have-
cholesterol and blood sugar. Our current plan right now is blood pressure, BMI, smoker status, but if you're a smoker, you can still qualify, you don't have to quit.
And if your
So-
BMI is, go ahead.
A lot more people when I even told them this mid-year, like, a few employees are like, oh, I wish I would've known that. I would be able to qualify. And if we had this current, if they could do it over, they would've gone in. So,
So I guess what does it take
It's a-
for them to qualify? I mean, do they have to
BMI under 30,
and maintain it for a certain amount of time,
No,
or just
one-time
at the
test.
time of election?
yes.
But once they elect a coverage, then they're stuck with that one until the next year, or?
You have 90 days, I believe, to get tested.
You have 90
From the
days to get
first-
qualified each year.
They have to qualify within the first
Every
90
year.
days of
So through
electing.
September 30.
As
So then
election
so let's say
officials.
that they don't qualify the first year, they gotta wait till the next year, and then they try again.
Correct.
Right.
Okay,
You can try more than once in the first 90 days.
right,
I
but,
mean, if you missed it by .2, you could schedule another visit.
yeah, for the next day and just don't eat.
Right.
So I mean, again, unless you tell me different, what I see is the health by choice incentives, HMO, it's much better if you fall in of the two, it's much better if you fall in the choice benefits, but if you are a standard, it's much better to be in the HMO,
Right.
right?
Is it possible to offer? both?
Unless you were in the standard and
No,
could
not
qualify
feasible.
for
It's
the
not feasible with
choice and
price
didn't know it,
level.
Right.
didn't realize it.
Right.
But-
Yeah.
It's a better price, the bigger the party,
Yeah.
so. So I would like to talk about, let's go to HMO 500 first. If the numbers read that we can, if people join the party, the insurance party here, and we get a better deal here on the health by choice incentives HMO, I'd like to see them go to
Leave that
that.
up to your discretion.
I'd like that.
I'm okay with that.
Okay.
You know, if
As
we're
long-
in that same range of 11%.
Yeah, if the numbers crunch like that.
What if they both go down significantly, then we stick with HMO? I mean,
What do you mean?
what if the demographic, whatever, causes both rates to go down?
Yeah, but HMO is not, I don't think is gonna go down.
I understand that your preference.
Because
is
the
this,
HMO
right?
doesn't get,
Yes.
huh? It would?
Well, yeah, because
Jewel.
the rate that Light and Power pays is based on the.
Individual.
Priority
Employees
health.
enrolled in the plan.
Yeah, Priority Health looks at the people in the plan and says, this is
But
X
it's-
healthy, we'll charge them this much.
It's my understanding that the healthy by choice incentive HMO is Greg's choice. The concern is it's a 24% in change increase.
Yes.
So if this plan were to be closer to that 11% increase, I'm understanding that personally, I think that's your decision.
But I
Yeah.
guess what I'm saying is, if the HMO plan becomes a 2% increase, because the demographic makes both plans healthier,
Right.
then are we as a board still recommending this one? That only if this plan is comparable in price to that one, that it would be okay? I mean, how much difference does it have to be for one to be worth the other?
11% to what, 13%? Is that what
2%.
you're saying?
Again, it gets back to the
That's-
philosophical
Yeah.
concept.
Exactly.
We started this 6 years ago to try and promote this
Right.
healthy living to get better benefits and keep our health costs down. If we want to stay with that, then I think if the health by choice plan comes in at 10% or less, or 11% or less, if we'd have gotten this at 11%, we'd have jumped on it, is what
yeah.
I'm saying.
Right.
Because it keeps with the program and
Oh,
the
yeah.
plan that
Yeah.
we have in place and we've been promoting for the last
Right.
6 years. Because it's not, we're looking at other options.
Right.
Okay? If this one was only 2% and this one was 11%, we'd still be looking at this one.
Right.
Because
Right.
it's staying with where we are and what we're doing.
Because it's the philosophical aspect of the healthier choice, the healthier living.
But it's really worth 20,000 in difference? That philosophy, I mean,
That's your decision.
because I guess what I'm saying is if they both drop by the same amount because of a demographic, or if they both go up by the same amount, but if this HMO 500 is still like 18,000 or whatever cheaper,
Well, I can.
I guess to me it seems like that you could, then that
Steve's-
18,000 gives you options to say, hey, do we want to compensate people who might have a higher deductible or a lower one that now is higher? You get those options, or you get other options, you can say, all right, with the savings, we can do more for the employees in other ways.
The problem I have, and there's no way around it, is the HIPAA and not knowing how many employees are in the choice and how much are in the standard. Because if I'm looking at the standard, I'm going, it's still better to go to the HMO.
Right.
So
Right.
again, I'm looking at, so that's my,
well, we
philosophical dilemma. So you don't, but I'm also going, okay, and hopefully we have a lot of them in the HMO, and
You mean in the choice?
they're in the choice, whether it's 2,000 or whatever the case, 2,000 per employee difference or whatever. I also think that having having employees that are
Feeling good about.
feeling good about their insurance, feeling good about this or whatever, are a more productive employee, so therefore, in my mind, it might be worth the $2,000 more per employee, to have a more happy, productive employee, et cetera. My dilemma is, geez, I wish I knew that out of the 7 of them were in the standard and 3 of them were in the choice or whatever, then it would make my decision real easy. I'd say,
Yeah.
we're going this way.
Well, but
Well,
what
the
I-
fact that we don't know is one problem, but what we do know is the cost of the plan to Light and Power.
Right.
But when you look at the difference between the new choice plan and the HMO 500 plan, is that either you hurt the choice benefits people because they could have had less out of pocket, but now they're going to stay the same, or you hurt the standard because they could have had a decrease in out of pocket, but now they stay the same. So
So
either way, one group is going to get, is going to lose a benefit that then, depending which one you choose.
Yeah.
And so that's why the way I see it is if one of them is significantly cheaper to Light and Power, then that gives Light and Power the option to say, let's take some of that money and give it back to the employees in another way.
So are we making
I mean,
a
'cause
decision
if you
based
buy the more
solely on
expensive-
cost, or based, what I hear Greg saying is he's looking at, which again, I don't know, I just feel like if people are gonna be healthy, they're gonna be healthy. That's a personal choice you're gonna make, and I don't know that,
It's not always a choice
Insurance
for
is
some
gonna-
people though, too.
I get that, but I don't
Okay.
know that insurance option is gonna make a huge difference for most people. What I hear Greg saying is he's had 6 years of, trying to promote this healthier standard of living, or healthier lifestyles, and feels that that aspect of promoting healthier lifestyles is important to the company. That's what I hear you saying.
Right.
Am I
Yeah.
correct in that?
And what I'm saying is that you could do the same by taking the savings of a universal type plan
Right.
and use that to promote healthy company
In other ways.
Initiatives.
Yes.
rather than just by saying, hey, do you want a cheaper?
And there are
Yes.
things like that. We talked with the Highland Group and.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean,
They'll
if
help
you,
you.
if you had an extra 18,000 in your budget to do that,
Right.
you could potentially
Well,
do
you could
more
even
than
spend
what
part of it,
the health.
yeah.
plan essentially
When
does.
will, my question, so when will you know a little bit more, because you're saying that these numbers could change? I mean, is it something that you'll know in a week, or is it something that they need a month? I mean, so,
Well, I guess my question is, how do the employees decide whether or not to enroll if they don't even know what the coverage is? I mean, like, how do you know who's going to be in the plan until the enrollment, right?
Well, and one of our employees is in almost a no-brainer situation when you say, Greg.
Right.
Yeah.
He's gonna switch.
So there's a
there's-
I mean, unless you went and asked them and said, hey, given that your
I
out
don't
of
think
pocket could be anywhere
this-
from
This
2,000 to 12,000.
difference in coverage isn't gonna be what makes the difference,
Okay.
No, I don't think so either.
is what we're saying. It doesn't matter which of these plans,
Okay.
There's other factors.
there's other factors.
Right.
So,
So it's just the one employee that,
there's potentially two. One of them actually hurts us a little bit if they leave, because they're on the low side, but one is on the high side. So, I mean, Steve has some estimates of what the cost would be.
Yeah, I guess-
If, with the 24.5% increase plan, if we had 2 employees switch, Lowell Light and Power's new out-of-pocket expense would be a 3% increase for the fiscal year.
Okay.
Does that make sense? So
Yep.
instead of being 24, we'd be down to 3%
Okay.
increase.
What's that in like dollars? Do you have that? somewhere?
We'd be going from 118 to 121.7, so $3,700.
Where's the 118?
It's not on there.
That's our current year's fiscal year cost. That's
Oh,
not on
so
here.
this is,
Yeah, but you have to factor in that employees are paying some of this.
Okay.
Oh.
Right, our cost.
Yeah, I'm
Right,
talking
right,
about Lowell Light and Power's,
Oh.
but you'll see on the income statement.
okay.
Right,
So this is really 118,
Yeah,
the
118.
current plan.
okay.
That's how much we're paying. We would go to 121.7 if we had these 2 employees leave. With a Priority Health HMO 500, we would be at 109.4. So there's a $12,300 difference. We'd actually see a 7.3% decrease in our healthcare costs as a company. You know, the plan might still be going up, but how much we're paying for healthcare benefits would decrease for the year. If you look at it just in terms of cash in the bank standpoint.
So what would now if you don't, so the current plan is based on those 2 employees staying, right?
Yes,
So then what would these 2 be if they stayed?
that's what they would be.
That's what they would be if they stay.
That's what
we're
That's what
quoted.
they'd be if they leave.
But what's the light and power number? Because that's kind of really what we're comparing in this.
Well, the percentage.
But I guess it's also what they have to pay too, as part of it.
Employer cost 12,300 times by 12, so that's 144, 147.6
Okay.
of that. And
And the other one is,
what's the other HMO 500? 11,000 times by 12, so 121.
okay. So really, this plan's only 16,000 more expensive currently, or than the HMO 500, but the other 2,000 is what the employees have to pay extra then,
Yeah.
is what you're saying, right? So that with the current membership, the choice plan would cost the employees 2,000 more in rates than the 500 plan. And then it costs Light and Power 12,000 or 16,000 more. Am I reading that right? So you said right now it's 147,000 for Light and Power.
If we went to that plan, that's how
Which
much it
means
would
that
cost
the-
all employees. That's what it would cost Light and Power to cover all employees.
Okay, so that means this 168 includes what the employees have to pay?
Yes,
About 20,000.
So the employees pay 20,000,
Yes.
Light and Power pays 147.
correct.
And so then, because I guess that's the other thing, is the difference between the 2 plans in terms of what the employees pay factors into this as well, right? I mean, if we had one plan that the employees had to pay 4,000 more, but Light and Power paid, something less, I mean, I would think that would factor into the decision, not just how much Light and Power is.
The percentage is still the same. If it goes up for us 3%, it goes up for them
goes up for them
3%. If it goes down for them,
It doesn't look like it.
No, it would still go up for each individual employee, the 25, because we had people switch
Oh, right,
from
right, you're
our
right.
healthcare plan
you're right.
to not on it. Our cost is going down that we're paying in healthcare expenses, but we're just seeing a huge savings from 2 people leaving,
Right, you're right.
where everyone else is still receiving the 25%.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
Oh, okay, so yeah, so then,
so
so no matter what, this
the
plan.
employees portion, they're gonna increase paying 25% more
yeah.
No
I mean,
matter
it
what, if
varies
you
by
pick-
employee, but yeah, it's
Based on
roughly.
this.
based on this.
So
The
if you were to
rates are
take the
based
choice plan the average employee pays an extra 25%.
Yeah, it's actually,
No matter
20
what.
I mean, it's funny how it works, because some employees are 23.7%.
And what is an employee pay right now?